The start of this race tonight brought to you by Country 93. White flag is out. '24, Jeff LaFlamme. On the pole, Brian Wilson Sr. on the outside. Looking for the green. Coming off 4, down the front, green is out. We are racing. John, shut the gate, please. John, shut the gate. John. Coming down, Brian Wilson, Sr. Leads lap number 1. On the outside, Jeff LaFlamme in 24 in second. The 08, Pat Farrell in third. The 0 of Phil Givens is in 4th position. Pat Farrell in the 08 car. Caution on the racetrack. Caution on the track. Looks like the 52 of Rick Van Cleet. Rick bringing out the caution here. Caution on the track. Looks like the 52 of Rick Van Cleet. Rick bringing out the caution here. Then you got the rookies in the division. Very, very, very great group of drivers out here. Coming off a 4, down the front, green is out, we're racing. The 7 of Brian Wilson Sr. takes off on the number 24 of LaFlamme. Jeff LaFlamme in second, Pat Farrell in third spot. Going back through the field, it's the 0 car of Phil Givens. Givens running in 4th position. Now the 02 of Mike Brown is on the move as he battles it out with the 08 of Cole Ecker and the 518 of Steve Hurd. 46 is next, Wayne Thorne, but at the front, it's Brian Wilson Sr. with the lead. Wilson out front, in second. It is the 24 of Jeff LaFlamme. In third spot, Pat Farrell, feature winner 2 weeks ago. Then going back through the field, Phil Givens, Mike Brown, and Cole Ecker, Steve Hurd, and Wayne Thorne. Gary Jones working his way up, but mid-pack now. But at the front, it is the number 7 that leads it, Brian Wilson Sr. Wilson, Phil Givens, back in 4th spot right now. Jeff LaFlamme being challenged in that 24 car by the 08 of Pat Farrell. It is number 7, Brian Wilson Sr., Pat Farrell in 08 second. Then Mike Brown in the 02. Then we have Jeff LaFlamme in 24 and 08 of Cole Ecker. Jeff LaFlamme is right there in the 24. Phil Givens in the 0. Wayne Thorne on the move now in the 46. Followed by the 518 of Steve Hurd and the 71 of Gary Jones. Coming by the starter stand one more time. It is the number 08, Pat Farrell, that takes the lead away from Brian Wilson Sr. Farrell in 08, Brown in 02, Wilson in 7, and the 08 of Cole Ecker. 08, Pat Farrell. Now it is 7 of Wilson, and the number 02 of Mike Brown. Cole Ecker is next in the 08. Now 46 of Wayne Thorne. 518 Steve Hurd, and 71 Gary Jones. Gary Jones working his way through the field. He started near the back, and he's already up to 6th position. Pat Farrell is your leader in that 08. Brian Wilson Sr. hanging in there in number 2 position. Then Mike Brown in 02. Cole Ecker in 08. Wayne Thorne in 46. Great race going on. 518 Steve Hurd passed by 71 Gary Jones. And we've lost Cambridge in that number 4. Chris Cambridge off to the pits. It is Pat Farrell, your race leader. Farrell in 08. Wilson in 7. That's Wilson Sr. The 02 of Mike Brown. And the 08 of Cole Ecker. 71 Gary Jones. 46 Wayne Thorne. And 518 Steve Hurd. Coming up on lap 14. Still a lot of racing to go. It is 08 Pat Farrell who leads it. Then Brian Wilson Sr., Mike Brown in 02, Wayne Thorne in 46, and Jones in 71. Gary Jones, keep your eyes on that 71. Gary Jones has got a fast car. He has come through the field all the way up now into 4th position. 08 Farrell on the high side. On the inside, the 7 of Brian Wilson Sr. And Wilson takes the lead. Brian Wilson Sr. gets the lead on lap number 16, and Phil Givens slows right down in the 0 car. Givens having problems out there in that 0 car, well off the pace now, but still on the racetrack. 16, now 17 laps complete. It is Brian Wilson, and challenging for the lead, Gary Jones. Gary Jones up to 2nd spot, trying to get around Brian Wilson. And the Bionic Bunny on the high side takes the lead. Gary Jones in 71, now being passed by the 7 of Brian Wilson Sr., 46 Wayne Thorne right there, as is the number 08 Cole Ecker and the 02 Mike Brown. Going back, it's Steve Hurd at 518 and Pat Farrell in 08. Great racing, folks. Great racing in this one. Halfway, 20 down, 20 to go. Halfway for $1,000 to win tonight. We've got a battle. It is the 7, Brian Wilson Sr., 71 Gary Jones, and number 46 of Wayne Thorne. 08 Cole Ecker, 02 Mike Brown, 08 Pat Farrell. Then Brian Wilson Jr., Steve Hurd in 518, and 24 Jeff LaFlamme. It is the number 7 of Brian Wilson Sr., about to be passed at the line by Gary Jones. And Jones leads lap number 22. Wilson comes right back in the 7. Wilson started up front and has looked good throughout this one. It's Wilson in 7. Brian Wilson Sr., then 71. Gary Jones. 46 Wayne Thorne trying to make his move. So far, no one has broken out. And we've got a great race. Now Mike Brown goes to 2nd spot. Gary Jones drops back. The number 7 is your leader, Brian Wilson Sr. Then Mike Brown in the 02 and 71 Gary Jones. Cole Ecker in the 08 and 46 Wayne Thorne. Brian Wilson Jr. is next in the 14, followed by Pat Farrell in the 08 and the 518 of Steve Hurd. But problems! Wilson goes around in the back straightaway, and we have got caution on the racetrack. Wayne Thorne, Brian Wilson Jr., Pat Farrell, Steve Hurd, Jeff LaFlamme, Cole Burles, Mike Peterson, Alex Stewart, Brian Wilson Sr., Phil Givens, Nathan Detweiler, and Mike Brown. Looking for the green flag off of 4 down the front. Green is out. We're racing. Off and racing. And it is the 71 of Gary Jones that leads it. Jones in 71. Cole Ecker in 08, and the 46 of Wayne Thorne. Brian Wilson Jr. in the 14. 08 Pat Farrell, 24 Jeff LaFlamme, and 518 Steve Hurd. Mike Peterson goes for a ride in the rhubarb back on the track, but lost a few positions. Up front, Gary Jones is your leader as we complete lap number 26. 71 Jones, 08 of Cole Ecker, and number 46 Wayne Thorne. Brian Wilson Jr. in the 14, and Pat Farrell in the 08. 13 laps to go. Gary Jones, remember he started near the back. He came up through. He is your leader now as we come up on 12 laps to go. 12 remaining. It is Jones in 71. The 08 in second spot, Cole Ecker. In third, Wayne Thorne. In fourth, Brian Wilson Jr. Look out, folks. Here comes Brian Wilson Sr. He has worked his way up to mid-pack after starting over in that number 7 car. Next time by, there'll be 10 laps to go. 71, Gary Jones. 10 remaining. This time by. 10 to go. It's Jones. We've lost Mike Brown in the 02. He's gone to the pits. It is Jones in 71. Ecker in 08. Followed by the 46 of Wayne Thorne and the 14 of Brian Wilson Jr. Then it's 08 Pat Farrell, 7 of Brian Sr., followed by Cole Burrows in the 63, and 24 Jeff LaFlamme. But at the front right now, race leader is Gary Jones. Jones, 8 laps to go. Jones in 71. The 08 of Ecker in second. Wayne Thorne third. Now it's Brian Wilson Jr. on the inside. Wilson Jr. going for third spot ahead of Wayne Thorne. Thorne on the high side still has the position. Number 7, Brian Wilson Sr. sits back in 5th position. Looks like we got a breakout, and the breakout on the track, I believe it's the number 7 of Brian Wilson Sr., and he has to fall back 5 positions. 5 to go. Tough break for Wilson after he was either leading or second for the biggest part of this race. But right now, up front, it is the number 71, Gary Jones, feeling the heat from the 08 of Cole Ecker. Ecker in second. Then we got Wilson Jr. in 14, and 46, Wayne Thorne. 63 of Cole Burrows now is in 5th position, with Jeff LaFlamme in 24 in 6. 71 Jones, 3 to go. Gary Jones in 71. Cole Ecker in 08. Brian Wilson Jr. in 3rd spot in number 14, followed by Wayne Thorne. 2 to go. 2 laps remaining. It is 71 Gary Jones. Cole Ecker in 2nd position, followed by Wayne Thorne and Brian Wilson Jr. The white flag about to fly. 1 lap to go. 1 remaining. It is Gary Jones down the back chute. In 2nd, Cole Ecker. In 3rd, Brian Wilson Jr., followed by Wayne Thorne. Into 3 out of 4 down the front for the checkered flag. It goes to Gary Jones. Cole Ecker for 2nd, Brian Wilson Jr. for 3rd, followed by Wayne Thorne, Cole Burrows, Jeff LaFlamme. It'll be Steve Hurd in 518, followed by Brian Wilson Sr., Phil Givens, Pat Farrell, Mike Peterson, and Alex Stewart. this one goes to Gary Jones. Jones picks it up, sponsored by Country 93. Is this the biggest payday you've had ever in a race?
It certainly is. My mouth is so dry, I could use a bottle of water right now. Wow. Yep, almost the back to the front. So it puts a smile on my face.
Your first night out, you certainly brought a fast car tonight, and you kept it under breakout.
Yeah, it's a tough go to stay within that breakout. The urge is to go, right? But we did our thing, and I did it on a good night.
Good night, the big payday. Who would you like to thank?
Oh, I'd like to thank my sponsor, Burloak Cycle and Marine, out of Burlington, Ontario. So if anybody is up here out of that area and they've got Sea-Doos or boats or whatever, deal with these guys. They know what they're doing. And I'd like to thank my brother for giving me a hand, and it all worked out tonight.
You've been doing this for a long time, Gary. I'm thinking close to 30 years. Quite a run tonight.
Yeah, I certainly have. 93 was my when I brought out my Mod 4, and then I had a couple of years off, and then 2007 I brought this car out. So it's pretty much the same as since I brought it out.
Everybody remembers that Ford Fiesta.
Yeah, I remember that one too.
Gary Jones, everybody, winning tonight here, Sauble Speedway.